Welcome back to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because we are doing something incredibly fascinating. We're taking a magnifying glass to a really dense, fast-paced lyrical snippet to deconstruct what it actually means, line by line. We're getting right into the anatomy of a verse, specifically the raw, energetic track Wally by Willie Mays. Now, on the surface, this might just sound like a rapid-fire flex of confidence, but as we break down the lyrics today, you're going to see it's actually a highly structured story about survival, cultural legacy, and just absolute deep-rooted loyalty. Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's immerse ourselves right into the rhythmic, hypnotic hook that sets the relentless tone for the entire piece. Pop his color. Can't stop. He can't stop. The repetition here, it's not just for a catchy beat. It establishes this aggressive, forward-moving momentum. From the very first breath of this verse, the artist is planting a flag in the ground. It's a total declaration of an unstoppable force. You can practically feel the energy. It's a refusal to pause, a refusal to quit, and it serves as the heartbeat for literally everything else we're about to uncover.
So, how are we breaking this down today? We've got 4 key tracks to systematically dissect the anatomy of these lyrics. First, the unstoppable mindset. Second, overcoming the opposition. Third, icons and influences. And finally, loyalty and the reward.
Starting right off with Section 1, the unstoppable mindset. This is where we build the foundation.
What's really fascinating to me here is how the lyrics take a simple slang term and elevate it into the ultimate manifestation of earning your success. We keep hearing pop that collar or pop his color, but actually scratch the idea of this just being a fashion statement. In the context of this verse, popping the collar becomes this powerful metaphor for unshakable confidence. It represents a deep personal pride that you are only allowed to display after you've survived the grind. It's the physical expression of an internal victory.
And you know the lyrics back this up perfectly. The artist says, "I'ma pop that collar as I should. If I put in that work, I would." They make it completely clear that the right to show off is strictly conditional. This isn't empty arrogance. The artist explicitly connects the swagger directly to the effort. If I put in that work, that is the prerequisite. The pride is a direct reward for the hustle. It's a beautifully simple equation, right? You do the work, you earn the right to celebrate.
That brings us perfectly to our second section, overcoming the opposition, the external struggle.
Now, we see this brilliant, stark contrast between the artist's focused grind and the active sabotage from their detractors. Think about the artist's actions here. They are playing humble, they're walking gum and working, literally praying they don't stumble. It's a very grounded, almost defensive posture. But then look at the opposition. They aren't just passively watching, they're aggressively intervening. They are trying to make him fumble, trying to terrify him, and actively praying that he tumbles. It's wild. The artist is just trying to maintain their balance, while the world around them is actively trying to sweep their legs out.
When we isolate these specific phrases, we can really see the sheer volume of negativity and relentless pressure the opposition is applying. I mean, they want to rip him up and stomp. They want to terrify him until he pummels. They are scrutinizing him, hoping his lines are full of lies, and literally praying he loses his voice and just mumbles. It's an absolute psychological and physical gauntlet. The text paints an environment that is incredibly hostile, where every single step forward is met with an active attempt to push the artist 2 steps back.
So what happens? Despite people hoping he would stumble, mumble, and fall, the artist's response is so simple and so powerful, didn't get disgruntled. They remain completely unfazed. They refuse to crack under the pressure. Instead of getting angry, instead of letting the haters win by losing their cool, the artist just absorbs the shock and keeps moving. They didn't get disgruntled, they just got back to the work.
Moving on to Section 3, icons and influences, drawing on greatness.
We've organized some of these heavy-hitting names here to show how they align the artist's own hustle with absolute legends. We get a reference to Master Farah Elijah Muhammad is in the temple, evoking deep black history, spiritual leadership, and disciplined resilience. And right next to that, Kareem Abdul-Jabari, instantly channeling the absolute pinnacle of athletic excellence, focus, and unstoppable performance. The artist isn't just name-dropping for the sake of it. They're essentially wrapping themselves in the armor of these historical giants. They're saying, the legacy I'm channeling here is monumental.
And what's absolutely brilliant here is how the artist deliberately juxtaposes everyday, street-level imagery with ultimate high status. In one breath, they're talking about something as ordinary, and let's be real, delicious, as supersizing my fries while whipped up in the run. And in the very next breath, they're bringing up this president and those historical titans we just talked about. This clash of imagery serves a massive purpose. It elevates the artist's everyday street hustle to a presidential, historical level. It's making the argument that the grind of the everyday person holds the exact same weight as the actions of world leaders.
And finally, we arrive at Section 4, Loyalty and the Reward, bringing it all home. The narrative arc beautifully peaks right here, revealing that all the bragging, the money-making, and the surviving, it's fundamentally dedicated to the community. The text explicitly shifts. Shout out to the bros and those with what's hood. The artist acknowledges that doing it just for yourself simply ain't enough. They are giving it what it takes, not for isolated personal glory, but to represent and uplift the exact people who've been in the trenches with them.
This line right here, this is the absolute emotional core of the verse. Even in the pain is going to happen. It projects this unshakable belief that success is entirely inevitable regardless of the suffering endured along the way. All that talk we saw earlier about being ripped up, stomped, and terrified, it's recognized as painful, sure, but it's also recognized as temporary. The success, the breakthrough, that is treated as a guaranteed absolute fact.
And then, boom, we get this line. This powerful promise completely recontextualizes the entire track. I'm coming back for you. This proves the ultimate reward isn't personal glory at all. The whole reason for that unstoppable momentum we saw at the very beginning is to escape the struggle so that they can turn around and pull everyone else up. The hustle is entirely selfless. Look at how hyper-specific the artist gets with this loyalty. They outline a clear, ironclad insurance policy for their people. They promise, even if the game change, I got a pack for you. They promise, when it rain, I make it stack for you. We're talking about financial and emotional support guaranteed through changing circumstances and the absolute hardest of times. It's a profound commitment to making sure the people around them are protected from the very struggles the artist just fought through.
Through absolute resilience, the artist views the culmination of this gritty journey as a total transformation. Coming out the other side of the hate, armed with the strength of historical icons and backed by this fierce loyalty to their community, they've become someone marvelous and spectacular. The journey from praying not to stumble has forged something genuinely beautiful. And so, the song circles right back to the beginning. They keep it happening, and they pop that collar. Because now, we know exactly what it took to earn it.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to consider this duality of the artist's struggle. We saw the intense fight against those trying to make them fumble, but we also saw the deep, unconditional promise to come back and stack it up for the community when it rains. Ask yourself, what truly defines winning in the end? Is it just surviving the hate? Or is it becoming that marvelous and spectacular force that actually changes the lives of everyone around you? Thank you so much for exploring the anatomy of this verse with me today. Keep asking those questions, keep looking deeper, and I'll catch you next time.